Hi everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another card video at my YouTube channel and blog. Today I'm going to be creating a card based on one of my previous videos. I asked you guys on Facebook what cards you would love to see recreated, and this is one of them. So the technique on this one was using some vellum inside a fused pocket shaker card. So I started out by cutting some vellum to 4.5 by 4.5. And then I'm using the Emma background from Simon Says Stamp. And I'm going to stamp this background onto the grid paper in my MISTI. And this is because I just wanted a little bit more control over where the design ends up on my piece of vellum. So I just stamped that, cleaned off the stamp, and then brought in the vellum square. So I'm coating that vellum square with some powder tool because I'm going to be embossing on it. And as you can see, I can see the image on the grid paper through the vellum. So I'm positioning that so that this design is centered. And then I inked up my stamp with some Versamark ink. I'll swing the door of the MISTI over, and that's going to put that design exactly center onto my vellum square. When I pick it up, it pulls the vellum with it, and I'm able to use my fingers just to make sure everything is stamped clearly. So I'll peel that off, and then I'm going to apply some rich pale gold embossing powder from WOW. This is one of my favorite gold embossing powders. I use it a ton, so that's why I have it in this plastic container here that makes it just easier to apply. So I hit that with my heat tool until it was completely melted, and you can see that beautiful gold finish on that design. I just really love how this turned out. So to make the actual shaker card, I'm going to use my We Are Memory Keepers fuse tool. So I'm placing my vellum square inside a plastic pocket sleeve, and then I'll use my fuse tool and the ruler that comes with the fuse tool to go around my vellum piece. So I'm going to seal off 3 edges. I'm going to keep one edge open so that I can fill it like a pocket with some sequins. So I'm just putting that fuse tool down. And I like to just put a thick piece of cardstock underneath my project, and that just helps protect my work surface. So I'll go ahead and fuse that 3rd side. And I just let my fuse tool preheat or heat up for quite a while I was working on the rest of the card, and then move fairly quickly but a little bit slower to fuse those sides. So now I have those 3 sides done, and I can fill my pocket with some sequins. So I'm using a color mix called Ocean from Little Things from Lucy Abrams, and I just filled a few of those sequins inside. And then I'm going to fuse off that 4th edge, and that's going to trap all of those sequins inside my card. So I'll use my scissors just to trim off the excess of that protective sleeve, or that I can't remember what these are called, page protectors. There we go. So I die cut the Miss You die from Simon Says Stamp. I die cut that out of some white cardstock, and then I used just a little bit of adhesive, and I took some of the tack off with my fingertips, and then placed all of those words and letters on top so they would stick down to the paper. This is just because I'm going to be applying some Versamark ink on top, and I wanted the die cuts to kind of stick down to something so they wouldn't stick to the ink pad. So I'm just placing those down, and then I can use my Versamark ink pad and just really press that down onto each of these die cuts. So I'm going to use my tweezers to pick up the different die cuts and give them a nice coating of that gold embossing powder. And I'll use my heat tool to heat set that until it's smooth and melted. And while it's still hot, I'm going to go ahead and dunk it back into more of that embossing powder. And this is going to give it a second coating of all of that embossing powder and give it a nice, clean, kind of thick coating of embossing powder. So I did that with all of the words. So that blue kind of watercolored pieces that you see up in the corner, I was going to use those, but then I decided not to. I thought I'd do something a little different. So I'm taking 3 different colors of Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, and I'm going to create sort of like an ombre background color effect. So I started with the darkest blue, coming in with more of a bright blue, and then I'm going to finish with more of a teal shade. And I'm just using a water brush to blend all of those colors together. So I'm going to add on this more teal color, or an aqua shade. And I'll go ahead and use my water brush to blend out that color, kind of have it fade out to white. And I will use my heat tool to help dry this. You can also just let it air dry if you'd like. So what I did with this watercolor piece was I took a heart die from Simon Says Stamps and Nested Hearts, and I cut out the watercolor heart and then also a plain white heart. And you'll see why I need to here in a minute. So I used some Ranger Multi-Medium Matte Glue to apply little tiny dots on the back of each of these words, and then I pressed them down onto the colorful heart die cut. I just used my tweezers to help hold those die cuts until they were in the perfect position. So I'm going to press that down. I'm going to put an acrylic block on top just to help hold that down while it dries onto the heart. So then I applied some foam tape on the back of the heart, and I'm going to put that directly onto the front of my pocket shaker card. And I'll just press that down, and basically the front of the card is complete. But I do need somewhere to write a message to the recipient, so I added some foam tape on the back of that white heart and put it directly on the back of the card. So that is the card for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see the other versions, the ones that inspired this card, it will be linked up in the top corner. You can go check those out. But I really love how this one turned out. I love the blue and gold. Thank you so much for watching today. I will be back on Monday with another card video. Until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.